Well, bye. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
What do you say to a driving instructor who's leaving?
I think goodbye and good luck kind of covered it.
Poor Cavallo used to have a lot of zip, but he's all U-turned out.
What's the new driving instructor like?
Seems qualified. What do I know? He was able to drive himself to the interview, so I hired him.
Monday morning. Cheer up. Could be next Tuesday.
Why, what's next Tuesday? Oh, yeah, the election.
The vote on the school bond issue. Proposition A.
Total destruction. According to today's poll, the school bond issue is going to be voted down 2-1.
That bad, huh?
Now, of all time, when the schools are already desperate for money. I don't know. I hate to even think of the kind of cutbacks I'm going to have to make. The teacher training program, the nursery school program. It's unforgivable.
Oh, hello, Mr. Dixon.
Good morning.
Mr. Kaufman, did you contribute yet to Mr. Cavello's going away present?
I gave it the office.
We're going to give it to him at today's teachers' meeting. I think he'll be very appreciative.
Oh, you have a teachers' meeting. My profound sympathies to both of you.
Oh, no, I think today's meeting is going to be very interesting. Today, Mr. Dragan is going to read his petition supporting the school bond issue.
Oh, another famous Dragan petition.
Yes. And if it's as good as his others, we're going to feature it in the school newspaper.
The school newspaper. Worldwide distribution on both floors of the building. Typical. Well, it's showtime.
See you later.
A petition. Now, what are they going to do? Threaten to hold their breath till they turn blue?
And now another highlight of our meeting. Mr. Kenneth Dragan is going to read us his petition concerning the school bond issue.
Thank you, Mr. Andy. Now, before I begin, I want to remind you that it's still not polished. It needs several cuts, particularly around page 7, but...
You did say page 7, didn't you?
I'm afraid so.
Whereas the school bond issue...
What'd you say?
I said I forgot there was a meeting today. We were going to catch a movie.
You wouldn't be suggesting anything as blasphemous as us splitting, would you?
Right.
You got yourself a deal.
Substituting profoundly interested for extremely interested is well taken, Robinson. Now, let's see.
Let's make a run for it.
Just a moment, Mr. Dixon. Aren't you going to vote?
No.
But this is an important issue.
An important issue? Mr. Dragan, what's the difference what the wording is on a petition that nobody's going to read anyway? With all due respect, aren't we just wasting our time? This is an issue that affects the whole community. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm helping out by sitting here deciding where to put a semicolon. I know you're doing your best, but that's how I feel.
I nominate that man for chairman of our protest committee.
What?
Pete Dixon for chairman.
Thanks, Alice, but that's out. Bad idea.
Why?
Well, first of all, I'm terrible at group things. And second, I have an appointment.
First of all, you're marvelous at group things. And second of all, you're not going anywhere.
I nominate Pete Dixon for chairman. What do you say?
Come on, let's see what he can do.
Pete Dixon is our new chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your confidence. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, but, well, I am sure about what I feel. We've got an issue on our hands, and we've got to deal with it. But we're not going to deal with it by signing a long, drawn-out petition.
He's right. I wrote it, but the man is right. I say, let's go out on a limb. Damn the torpedoes and full steam ahead. Let's shorten the petition.
Mr. Dragan, that's not exactly what I had in mind.
Pete,
Yes.
this may seem a little far-fetched, but if you really mean business,
Go ahead, Ethel.
why can't we visually demonstrate how we feel? We could write some tastefully worded placards like, vote yes on Proposition A, something direct, and a little personal, and place them on the back of our automobiles.
Why on our cars? Why don't we carry them? See, we take Ethel's signs and we put them on sticks.
Picket signs? You want us to carry picket signs?
No, not picket signs, just signs on sticks. And then the day before the election, in full view of everybody, we walk out of the building, single file, carrying the signs, and then we stroll in an orderly manner straight for the parking lot.
And then what?
Then we'll drive home.
How? I mean, what kind of namby-pamby little display is that, Nardino?
It is not a namby-pamby idea. We'll be carrying picket signs.
That's a typical Nardino suggestion. Why don't you do us all a favor? Shut up.
Look, Benson, you can disagree with what I'm saying, but you gotta defend my right to say it.
No, I don't have to defend your right to say it. As a matter of fact, I don't have to defend your right to say anything. I defend my right to tell you to shut up.
Okay, fellas, cool it. Do either of you have any constructive ideas?
Yeah, I do. Let's strike.
Strike?
Yes, strike. Except for those of us who are going to be too busy marching into the parking lot in full view of nobody.
A strike would get the point across. An organized demonstration showing how we feel.
I say, let's show them the stuff we're made of. And I say, if we have to, let's take the whole lunch hour to do it.
Well, what's that? I mean, what do we have to kill lunch hour for?
Now you're going to make a big deal about missing a measly lunch hour? I mean, where do you eat, Nardino? At the Ritz? We take a couple of sandwiches. We eat them in the line. We put the apple core in the litter basket. Finito. That's it.
Benson, I don't like the idea that every time I make a suggestion, you gotta make fun of me.
Hold it. I'd like to propose that the teachers of this school take an afternoon off, missing a half a day's pay, in order to hold an orderly demonstration in favor of Proposition A.
I second the proposal.
All right, now let's just calm down for one little minute, please, folks. Now, I know all of you do not know me. I'm new here. The name is Yarnell, E-Y Yarnell, Science Department. Now, I have something to say. I am going to say it. I think this young man is being a little generous with our paychecks. Missing half a day's pay. We're talking about money here, mister. Money. Moolah. Dollar bills. And I, for one, am not ready to have someone else decide how they're going to get rid of it for me.
Excuse me, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lose my temper, but, I mean, all this talk about money when there's a principal at stake.
Student teacher.
Science teacher.
And may I add, I don't quite grasp what all the fuss is about. Let's not lose sight of the fact that, well, after all, friends, who are we kidding? This is a bond issue. Bond issue. It isn't as if it were anything personal.
Nothing personal? Oh, look, Mr. Yarnell. Unless this bond issue is passed, the remedial reading classes will be discontinued. Does that personally get to you? Half the nurse's aid program will be cut out. Is that personal enough for you? Is this personal enough for you? When you teach your classes and you're sitting at your desk, you won't have enough textbooks to do your job.
If doing your job is of any interest to you, Mr. Moolah, Mr. Dollar Bills.
Now, see here. I was a member of this profession before you even learned to read, young man. Or should I say, young beatnik?
Beatnik? Whoever says beatnik anymore? That, Mr. Yarnell, is an archaic expression.
What is everybody getting so crazy for? I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I mean, this whole thing's got me crazy.
What we're talking about is nothing. That's what we're talking about.
What we're talking about is a bond issue in this year's election. These are very scary times. A while back, everything was simple. Right was right, wrong was wrong. But now the fine lines have disappeared and people are uncertain. So they figure maybe if they vote no, it'll all go away and they won't have to think about it. Nervous about what's happening in our schools? Vote no. Can't understand our youth? Vote no. Threatened by revolution and change? Vote no. Okay. The strike isn't 100% right, but it's more right than it is wrong. And nowadays, baby, that's the most you can hope for.
Let's vote.
Amen. Let's vote.
All those in favor? Was wrong. But now the final 100% right. But it's more right. Nervous about what's happening in our schools?
How did the DAR meeting go yesterday? They give Cavallo a golden steering wheel or anything?
Mr. Kaufman, the teachers of Walt Whitman High are going on strike to demonstrate for the passing of the bond issue.
What?
That's right, a strike.
You're joking. No, you're not joking. You're crazy.
We have no Kaufman. The teachers of Walt Whitman...
You could get up a petition. Now, I know yesterday I was kidding around about a petition, but the fact of the matter is their petition would act... No, you're not joking. You're crazy.
We have no...
Ineffectual. Oh, boy. Okay. When? I gotta notify the school board.
Starts at noon, the day before election.
Well, why don't you take the whole day? I could get substitute teachers. Oh, boy. Okay, I gotta notify the school board.
Starts at noon. Look, I know the position this puts you in. I don't expect you to sanction it. Only try to understand it.
Come on now, Don Quixote. You're not the first guy that ever went riding off on a white horse. We all have our little windmills. We all have our little... 19 years ago, a teacher named Bob Dressner. They wanted to kick him out on some trumped-up charge. And I was out there, oh boy. Seymour Kaufman was out there, 10 pounds lighter, more hair, marching into the sunset. What did the ledger show when it was all over? 0. Bob gained nothing. And I was out one meaningless gesture. That's all they are, Pete. Meaningless gestures.
Mr. Kaufman, we've decided.
Yeah. Okay. You've had your little say. I'll just sit here in my cell with my bread and water.
Yeah. Well, see you later.
Loneliness is a high school principal.
And I can't decide whether to go to the strike today or to go to my analyst appointment. See, if I go to the strike today, I just feel guilty about not going to my analyst. But what good is missing my analyst today if all I do tomorrow is talk about why I missed the day before?
See, there it is, Mr. Dragon. Alice Johnson under J. I have an assignment. Notify second floor teachers just before the walkout.
I saw it 5 minutes ago.
You know, I've always been a talker. It's so great to be a doer. I wouldn't want any of the other teachers to know, but this is my very first strike.
Miss Tandy? Miss Tandy, forgive me. About those signs, I mean, why didn't you do them in black and white?
Well, I told you, Mr. Benson, the art department is out of black paint.
Oh, okay. But I still think pink and blue and green picket signs are going to look pretty spooky.
On the other hand, if I go to my analyst appointment, I'll just spend time talking about how guilty I feel because I'm not at the strike. So what good is that? On the other hand...
And it's at Walt Whitman High School this afternoon. Oh, I should tell the news department. Could you connect me, please? Thank you. And news department, this is a crank caller speaking. I'd like to place an anonymous phone tip.
Oh, sorry to interrupt your lunch, but I wanted to officially bring you the sign-out sheets.
Come in, Trotsky. Sit down. Well, how are the plans going? When do the lemmings start rushing down to the sea?
It's not as futile as all that, is it?
Oh, of course not. A bunch of sign-waving school teachers rushing pell-mell into the streets, whooping it up. It's a real showstopper. Hello. Oh, Lionel. Sorry. Yes, Lionel. Oh, come on now, Lionel. Stop acting like a school board chairman and act like what you really are, an overwrought, crazed hysteric. Lionel, I can't understand you when you scream like that. I can make out the syllables, but I can't tell if it's any recognizable language. Lionel, would you put Andrew on, please? Hello, Andrew? Andrew, would you put Lionel on, please?
See, if I go to the strike today, I'll just feel guilty about not going to my analyst. Gee, you've been awfully good about this.
Lionel, I can't stop them, even if I wanted to. How can I, in all conscience, ask them not to speak out for something they feel that strongly about?
A sunlit path, a shining tower that framed against the sky. A clock that marks off memories. Yes, that's Walt Whitman High.
And from where we are in the park across from Walt Whitman High School, on this day before elections, ladies and gentlemen, we can hear the voices of these striking teachers. Sir, I wonder if I could have a moment, please. Yes. And what's the name of that song, Mr.
Benson, American and World History.
What's the name of that song, Mr. Benson?
Oh, why, that's called, well, that's I think it's just called Walt Whitman High.
Fine, fine. And what exactly does it have to do with the strike you people are engaged in?
Nothing, really. It's just our school songs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Benson, American and World History. Sir, could I have a moment, please? And what is your name, sir?
Dragan, Kenneth Dragan.
And you really believe in this strike and what it stands for, Kenneth Dragan?
Oh, I certainly do. I think it's crucially important.
Could you tell our audience why, Dragan?
Well, frankly, I feel that whereas we, the teaching faculty of Walt Whitman High School, henceforth and hereafter known as the staff, and whereas...
We feel that Proposition A can make or break education in this county.
The commitment that we make...
Mr. Dragan, thank you very much.
The concept of...
Now, are we going to put dollars and cents ahead of the education of our children?
You can bet your sweet tonsils we are.
Present company excluded. Cents ahead of the education of our children.
You can bet your...
Proposition A. Vote yes. Proposition A. Vote yes. For Proposition A.
Yes, Lionel, chanting, right. Well, because they want to, Lionel. What do you think? Lionel, please, all these phone calls, why don't you do something constructive instead? Like stare at the walls or something.
So you decided to call off your analyst appointment, huh?
No, not exactly. He called me. He had a cold.
And as chairman, you summarized the accomplishments of this strike as...
Well, we did what we felt. And that's about all I have to say. If it makes anybody stop and think, well, great.
Like chickens with their heads cut off, right, pal? That no, Mr. Kaufman? Guess you're glad to be going home away from this circus? I'll walk you to your car.
No, it's all right, Yarnell. Don't bother.
I just had to come down, take a look. Mrs. wanted to join me, get a chuckle or two, you know, but I said, no, honey, you just Sit tight, stay home. These people might be dangerous. Anyway, you can see the same sort of thing on the TV set any day in the week. Happening all over.
Yeah. I guess in one way or another it is, isn't it?
They'll burn themselves out. They always do. They did 20 years ago, and they will now. Oh, were you around when we had that big mess in 50? We really got that joker right where he lived. Didn't we, pal?
Proposition A.
Robert, Dresslow.
Proposition A.
Dressler.
Yes.
Robert Dressler.
Vote yes. Proposition A.
Hey, honey,
Vote
how about a date?
yes. Proposition
How about you
A.
and me, huh?
Vote yes. Proposition A.
Don't you talk to her that way. Do you hear me? I'm telling you just once. Don't talk to that woman that way.
I was talking
Do you have any idea who you're talking to? This is a lady here. Look, Tandy, please. They don't appreciate. No one appreciates. Go home, please.
A shining tower that's framed against the sky.
Please, everybody, go home. It's not worth it. It's just not...
Yes, that's Walt Whitman High. So fast, so fast, the days are growing few. Though we'll soon disappear, still our hearts will hear. Walt Whitman High with you. A sunlit path, a shining tower that's framed against the sky. A clock that marks off memories.
Yes, that's Walt Whitman High.
So fast, so fast, the days are growing few. Though we'll soon disappear, still our hearts will hear. Walt Whitman High with you.
Well, I hate to be an I told you so, but 2 to 1 against, right?
Right.
Well, don't let it get you down. In a week, it'll be ancient history. Take care, man.
What does a sudden loss of appetite mean?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, Miss Tandy.
Mr. Kaufman, I wanted you and Mr. Dixon to know that even though the strike failed, it was a wonderful day in my life. We did our best, and the feeling was warming. It was very warming.
Thank you for telling us that, Miss Tandy.
How's your appetite now?